This is a Couch Brewing production. Hi, this is Luke from Couch Brewing. Today, we're going to go over my top 5 new to Arena Pauper reprints. Starting with an honorable mention. Siege Scorpion is 1 green for a 1/1 with Death Touch. This is mostly here because I love the flavor text. Thecadius the Mighty, Slayer of Minotaurs, Vanquisher of Giants, killed by a scorpion. I mean, it's a decent hold the ground 1/1. You know, it's got Death Touch, so if you got your green-black Death Touchers, this will definitely get the job done. But it's only here for the flavor text. I love this card. Let's move on to my number 5. And that's Murder. Now, Murder is already on the Arena client, but for whatever reason, in M20, they've decided to pump up the jam a little bit, and they've downshifted Murder back down to common. This would be higher on my list if not for Obnixilus's Cruelty being printed in the last set. Basically, 3 mana instant kill anything. Obnixilus's Cruelty does have the downside of having that hard cap at a 5 toughness creature, but it also has the upside of exile in it. Murder doesn't care what you targeted, it will kill it. So, you can go back and forth on which one's better. If I'm in a black light deck, I'm going to definitely stick to the Obnixilus's Cruelty. If I'm in a heavier black deck, I might run a mix between the two. I'm still going to fall on Cruelty being my favorite 3 mana black removal spell in this format, but Murder is another very solid option. My number 4, it is Fairy Miscreant. It is 1 blue mana for a 1/1 flyer. When Fairy Miscreant enters the battlefield, if you control another creature named Fairy Miscreant, draw a card. This is a really good card in regular Pauper, mostly because of the card Spellstarter Sprite and its synergy, adding more fairies to the board so you can counter bigger spells. I don't think we're ever going to see a Spellstarter Sprite printed at common on the Arena client. So it loses that, but it does have some good synergy to be able to curve into turn 1 Fairy Miscreant, turn 2 Winged Words. It might not be good enough, but it is something to consider. Blue doesn't really have much of a tempo deck in the Arena Pauper format, so it's something to keep an eye on. My number 3 reprint that I'm super excited to see is Netcaster Spider. Netcaster Spider is 2 and a green for a 2/3 with reach. Whenever it blocks a creature with flying, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So it blocks as a 4/3 with anything in the air. Turn 1 Llanowar Elves into turn 2 this can really hold down the fort until a green ramp deck can get up to your Colossal Dreadmaws and other stuff. And a 4/3 with reach is big enough to trade with almost any flyer currently played in the format. My number 2, holy cow, I never thought I'd see this at common in a standard set again, is Raise the Alarm. 1 of the white for an instant. Create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Power level at commons is definitely back on an upswing in regards to standard. And this is another great example. Great in your go wide decks, and also has some utility in a blue-white control type shell that wants to hold up mana for counter spells early and be able to just flash stuff in if they have nothing else to do. My number 1 reprint at common that I was super shocked to see going through the spoilers is another old core set all-star in Passivism. The mono-white aggro decks were already the most prevalent deck in the format, and they got a strict upgrade to their best removal spell in Luminous Bonds. Passivism is 1 in the white, enchant creature, enchanted creature cannot attack or block. I think this will make white-based decks a lot better, This is definitely a strict upgrade to Luminous Bonds. It was already the most prominently played deck, and this kind of says that it's probably going to continue to be so. But there was one more reprint that really shook my foundation, and it's actually 10. The Gain lands are coming to Magic Arena, and again at Common. So, if you've ever played Classic Pauper, or whatever we want to call it now, Gain lands are just your go-to basics. They are your default. They're the shock lands of Pauper. They come in, they're tapped, they gain you a life. We don't have the gate synergies all the way down to Common, at least not that are any good. The extra life gain is just strictly better over any of the duels we currently have access to. If you got them, stick them in. It's never a wrong decision if you're running 2 colors. Well, that's my list. I'm also going to do a breakdown of new cards printed into Arena Pauper that I'm also excited to try. I wanted to get this one out of the way first, because if I just would have done a top 5 or a top 10 list, half of these would have taken up slots for new cards. Specifically Pacifism, Raise the Alarm, and the Gainland. So, super stoked. I think this is going to mix up the format a lot. Gives us a lot better options. Thanks for watching the video. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing. You can follow me on Twitter @GeekLukeG. This is Couch Troll Brewing.